They should be able to hear us now.
So, how do you like the way I organized everything?
It's fine. I mean, you know, I can see part of your bookcase, but not all of it. You know, so. But yeah, I mean, I don't.
This
I don't.
is all my nerd stuff.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with your internet tonight, but your stream is really rough looking tonight. So, and I don't know what it is. It's just your camera looks pretty pixelated and stuff. I mean, you can. Yeah, it does. It looks pretty rough.
It doesn't look that bad from my point of view.
Yeah, because that's your camera just going straight in to your screen. That's not your camera coming in through the internet to me. So, yeah, it looks pretty rough tonight.
I don't know why my Wi-Fi is so bad.
Yeah. So, anyway, I mean, it is what it is. There's not much we can do about it, you know?
Does it normally look like this?
No, it usually looks better than that. So, I don't know what's up tonight. Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Oh, check out what I've been working on. New map.
But it's everything's so pixelated, I can't see anything on there.
Okay.
So
so it's pixelated even just from the...
All I can see is a big 4 sheets of manila paper folded together. I mean, stuck together. I can't see anything on it, so.
Okay.
I wish there was an easy way to type.
I gotta get some hydrating oil or detangler for my beard.
Yeah. Well, you just need beard oil. You just need beard oil.
I know. I thought that pomade stuff that you got me also was like the same thing.
No, that lotion type stuff. That's more for grooming when it's really nice and tight and coiffed. Yours definitely needs oil to get tamed. It needs some taming.
Gotcha.
So, anyway.
Right.
Well, I'm gonna mute me and then see if I can hear everything on the stream. Yep, I think we're all set. Let me get the recording started.
All right, let's do it.
Very Devo-ish. Yeah, you might when we're done, you might go to speed test. I think it's speedtest.com or something like that, and they'll check your internet speeds because something's up. I don't know if your computer needs to be rebooted or the router needs to be rebooted, but something's up.
I did. It does says I need an update.
Yeah, well, yeah, mine does too. So maybe when you're all set, when we're done tonight, you can reboot, update, and then do the speed test thing and see if there's some problems. Because you might need. Sometimes that happens, and you just need to reboot your router. And sometimes that helps. So okay, all right. Well, let me get us started here. Are you ready to get started? Man, my mouth is super dry.
Yeah. I'm just very, very yawny this evening. I'm
right.
sorry.
Well, it is what it is. So.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, let me stop this music and we'll get the thing going. I don't think
Let's do it.
Yeah, Friday night's just such a bad time to have any kind of audience, any kind of folks popping in. So it is what it is.
I know.
So, all right. I'll stop that and I'll get the music started.
What?
Stop it. Do you not understand audio production at all? We're going to start this over because I need silence to start the theme, to start for the recording.
Let me know when you're starting so I can know to shut up.
Buddy, if I'm sitting here looking at you, not speaking, and we just said we're going to go, that means we're going. So do I need the old
You have to
1950s?
give me a visual gesture. You have to give me a visual gesture to
All
cut
right.
through the autism.
Well, here we go. So now, let me make it really clear. We are about to start. 5, 4, 3. Let's try this again. Jeez Louise, this is ridiculous. Oh my goodness. You know what? You're dancing over there and with all your pixelated screen, you look like an 8-bit video game. Hey everybody, welcome to episode 102 of the Gene Pool Variety Hour. I am Sean, I'm the old guy of the group. I'm Dad, and the guy on the other screen or in your other ear if you're listening is...
Well, hi there, everyone. As you know, I am your friendly neighborhood ASMR player right here. So we're just gonna make sure that we just have a nice little canvas going on, and if anything goes wrong with, it's just gonna be happy little trees, happy little bushes. You know, just gonna make sure that we paint over them. You know.
What the heck is going on here?
I was trying to do my Bob Ross impression.
Well, I mean, I knew where you were going with it, but I didn't know. Man, I am super overmodulated tonight. So, I knew where you were going with it.
Yes.
I just had no idea that you were going to try to actually do his voice. So anyway, I had to put on my podcast glasses, people, which is also known as my old man glasses. So,
your quadfocals at this point?
No. I took off my trifocals, and now these glasses that I'm wearing, the entire lens is my mid-range, my reading glasses color, prescription, so I can see everything. When I'm wearing my trifocals and I'm trying to look at the keyboard, I'm trying to look at you, I'm trying to look at the recording, I'm trying to look at all those things. I'm going regular vision, mid vision, reading. I'm going back and forth. It's like a bad trip, man. I can't do it, and I can't see half of anything. So
anyway, friends, my name is Connor McKay, aka Quillmeister, also known as the spawn of that man over there's loins.
Yeah, and we were chasing chickens early tonight, man.
Yes, we are.
So anyway, we're just gonna kind of hang out and talk for a while, and we talk about nerdy stuff, and we talk about a random movie. So, where do you want to start? What do you want to do? I'm kind of game, man. I'm kind of shot from the week. So where do you want to go?
I have finally perfected my new and improved nerdy area, because now you can see a whole lot more. I finally have a bunch of my figures on display. But sadly, if you're watching this or watching the video or so forth, you can't really see anything because for some reason my camera is very, very pixely tonight.
Couple of things that might be going on there. We talked about the bandwidth issues. The other thing is you might need a little bit more lighting. A little bit more lighting means that your camera's not. Oh, that's. I mean, no. We'll work on that. So you turn that, because now you get these nice little rings right in your eyes. So we'll skip all that. But anyway,
you have rings in your glasses too.
Well, actually, what I have is my monitors reflecting in my glasses. So
still,
I know I try to minimize that by having everything kind of dark, but it's still there. So. This is riveting radio for the folks listening to the podcast, and for those listening to the podcast, Connor currently has a butcher knife, and is, I guess, kind of like pirate shaving his beard over there. He's got this blade just kind of scraping on his. Anyway.
Yeah.
So
really gets that deep itch.
Yeah. Anyway. So we got an interesting movie to talk about tonight. Connor has an interesting question that he wants to pose, and it would really be cool if we had some other folks in here for that question. I would really love it. It's a shame that Mitch is not in here, because Mitch, being our horror movie guy, he would. I'm sure that there's lots of horror movies out there with some pretty interesting things that happen, consistent with our question. So maybe he'll pop in later. If not, it's okay. I've got a couple of things that I'll mention. Three that I'll mention from for the geek question. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. There's not, we try not to talk about issues of the day because we try to be your geek safe space and not talk about all the issues of the day, because there certainly are a lot of issues of the day that a lot of people like to talk about on social media. We're not going to do that because I don't like to. So we're not going to do that. We're just going to kind of hang out and have a good time. So let's just start with any kind of good, fun, nerdy stuff. What's been going on in your nerd life lately? Oh God, really? I'm sure the people that are listening to okay. My apologies to all the people listening to this podcast with their earbuds in that just blew their eardrums because Connor did that unannounced. And his screen is so pixelated, I couldn't tell that he put something in his mouth. But apparently, he put some little squeaker thingy in his mouth. And yeah, there you go. And so, stop being. There was a clown. Oh God, it wasn't Bozo the clown, but there was a clown that didn't speak, and he just used a horn to communicate. And I don't remember who that was, but anyway, so that's what you kind of remind me of right now. So let's not do that again. Or at least warn me so I can warn my listeners, our listeners, so that we don't bust their eardrums.
But that's the thing. If you warn them, then it's not funny or spontaneous.
Well, neither is a bleeding eardrum. So that's not high comedy either. This is not a morning Zoo Crew radio show. Okay. So let's try not.
Let's see. Nerd stuff. Stuff.
What's been going on?
I've been getting back into anime, watching what I can.
What you been watching lately?
There's this hilarious anime that I watched.
Yeah?
Netflix original. It's called Romantic Killer.
Okay, what's it about?
So essentially, it's about this loner high school girl who has three big desires in life.
Okay.
Her love of chocolate.
Okay.
Her love of video games.
Okay.
And her love for her cat.
Okay.
So
no, so is this, you say is a girl, or did you say a robot girl?
A girl.
Okay.
Gamer girl.
Okay. I don't know where.
Loner girl, I said.
I don't know where I confabulated.
I
don't know where I confabulated robot from, but anyway. Okay, so a girl that likes chocolate, video games, chocolate, and cats.
And her cat.
She likes She likes chocolate cats, or just chocolate and cats?
No. Chocolate, video games, and her cat Momohiki. That's her name. That's the cat's name.
Momohiki. Okay, gotcha.
Yes.
All right. So what's the premise? What's the premise? What's the premise of the show then?
There is this weird wizard character who comes in and it basically makes the main character Anzu, that's her name.
Mm-hmm.
They make Anzu this subject for a romantic thriller project to essentially have her live out what's essentially like a real life dating sim.
Okay.
To try and help her have a relationship and not cause a detriment to Japan's lowering birth rate.
Okay, well, wait. I was doing some production monkey stuff over here. What? She say that briefly.
Essentially, an all-powerful an all-powerful wizard figure is putting Anzu, the main character, in a real-life dating simulator game to essentially have her be in a relationship and help her see love, because if she doesn't, she could be the downfall or the start of the downfall of Japan's birth rate and population, because in the anime they describe Japan as just having lowering interests in that stuff.
Okay. In real life, Japan has
It's the
this.
exact opposite. I know.
No. In real life, Japan has, I think, the second lowest birth rate in the world, behind South Korea.
Yeah.
They're not having enough children to repopulate their country. Their population is getting older and shrinking because they're not having enough children. Yep.
Fair.
That's so. I think it's kind of interesting that somebody's starting to panic over there and say, "Hey, let's make an anime and make people go, hey, let's have kids. That sounds fun." I mean, it's probably the Japanese government sponsored that anime.
So essentially, he to motivate this girl to go through with this wizard's plan, she confiscates all of her chocolate, her cat, and her video games, making it impossible for this girl to consume chocolate, see her cat, or any cat for that matter, or play video games
Until she what?
Until she is in an actual relationship.
Okay.
But because this girl is so stubborn, she's like, I am going to beat you and show you that I don't need to be in a relationship. So I will power through my three greatest desires being taken away from me, and I will show you that I do not need anything. So while the whole project is called romantic thriller, she's saying, if this is romantic thriller, I'm going to be a romantic killer. And because she's such an avid gamer, she can see through all of these dating sim game tropes that's being thrown at her. And so she tries to actively combat and go the opposite direction of them.
Yeah.
Of what is normally available in those scenarios.
Okay.
But they still work, and she ends up having 4 guys being totally into her, and she has to figure out how to still follow along her own path.
That sounds super convoluted. Of course, that may be what anime's like. I don't watch a lot of anime. So, or maybe all animes are super
convoluted. You don't watch
convoluted.
any anime.
Not unless I have to.
You can't.
Not usually. I mean, now I will say, I know it's not anime, but it's anime-ish. I did watch K-pop Demon Hunters.
See?
It's 3D. It's 3D, but it's anime-ish. The animation style is anime-ish. It was pretty funny.
And what did you think?
It wasn't too bad.
What did you think of the movie?
It wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
But you know.
Now, here's the real question.
Yeah.
How did you like the soundtrack?
I mean, it's good if you like K-pop type stuff. It's a little too popish for me. Now, I will recognize talent when there's talent, and there was talent. You know, that singing, they were really good, and so I can appreciate that. It's not songs I'm going to buy and listen to, but yeah, I mean,
but did you know that that the band Huntrix, that fictional band, that has gone platinum?
Yep, because I was watching Jimmy Fallon when he gave them their platinum album. Yes, I saw that. So
how insane is that?
Well, I know, it's crazy, right? That, you know, and what, the lead singer of that, she was in like some kind of K-pop training show or something like that, and got rejected or something. And I'm like, how can you hit those notes that you're hitting in that song Golden and be rejected? I mean, I've gotten to where I'm going to just chase my own chicken here. I've gotten really sucked into watching all these reaction videos on YouTube.
Yeah.
People watching specific movie scenes and how they react to it and this kind of stuff, but also people listening to certain songs and music and reacting to it for the first time. So I have watched.
Have you seen reaction videos to people doing to people hearing Black Betty?
No. Well, yeah, I have, but you know, watching people, but like there's a few people that I've started watching that are like professional singers and voice coaches. One is like an opera singer, like just really good opera singer, but she is into death metal, into like the throat singing, because she's fascinated by the science of it. And so I watch a lot of her videos when she reacts to things, and she was reacting to that song, that Golden or whatever it is from K-pop. Yeah. A lot of people have done that, and when you have professional singers and professional voice coaches kind of freaking out at how strong and loud and high that chorus is, you know that something's good. So yeah, so I mean, I appreciate that. So I have watched an anime-ish. I won't say it's classic anime. I'm sure that anime nerds, aficionados would say it's not. But
Dad,
yeah,
I'm dead serious.
yeah.
If you want to get into anime, I can get you a recommendation list in like a minute.
Yeah, I'm good.
Because
I'm
I
good.
do believe there are some anime that you would enjoy.
I'm sure there are. But there's a lot of weird ones out here, and
I know,
and I have too many.
But don't you trust my cursorial knowledge?
Of course.
To weed out the weird ones and give you the good content.
However, I have a lot of things that I watch, and I've got things that I really enjoy watching that I'm going to watch before I'm going to go experiment with anime. I'm just going to, So just like you're going to watch anime before you're going to watch some of the shows that I would like. I mean, it's just the way it is, right?
Well, like what? Name one.
Okay. Here's one. Shocked the heck out of me. It's a show your mom's been watching. She thinks, oh, you don't want to watch this. You're just sitting here with it. I'm like, no, I'm actually enjoying this show. It's a British show called The Midwife, and it's about the midwifery profession in London, and the show starts in like the 1940s or something like that, and they're into the 1960s. There's like 14 or 15 seasons of this show, and it's midwives that live in a nunnery with nuns, and they run like a midwife thing for women having their children at home and stuff. And it's kind of fascinating. It's kind of fascinating. But here's the thing that I like about it. Yeah, there's a little bit of drama here and there, but it's not like your shows today where this person got this person pregnant, no, all that kind of drama. It's just a nice show with nice stories and nice people doing nice things for people that are struggling and this kind of stuff. It's kind of like a warm blanket of a show, you know?
That's good.
And so I had no idea that I would enjoy something like that, but I really enjoy watching that one with her. But, me and all of my, like, special operation, guy action type shows and all of my political intrigue type shows and things like that. That's not stuff that you'd really be interested in. You'd watch now sci-fi and fantasy and all that you would, but
have you heard of a show called The Lioness?
I have, and I started watching it a long time ago, but has some pretty strong language in it. And so
I mean they're in the Marines.
No, so I get that, and I was surrounded by that when I worked for the military. So I get that. Your mom doesn't like all that language, right? So she's not going to watch it, and so I'm not going to watch it while she's awake. So I have very few opportunities to watch those kind of shows, after she goes to bed or whatever. So, so anyway, so yes, I would love to watch that one again, but or finish it. I mean, but anyway, so yeah, so that's why I'll probably won't never get fully into anime just because I've got too many other things that I really enjoy more. So anyway,
let's see. There's another anime that I discovered recently that I enjoyed.
What's that?
So this is what I love about some anime. It's either an extremely short title, like or it's a full run-on sentence.
Right.
So here I'm gonna pull up the actual title of the anime so you can hear how ridiculous it is.
Okay.
So it's an anime known as an isekai. An isekai anime is the premise of someone from the modern world dying and reincarnating into a fantasy world, and then because of that they become an overpowered person. So this is what it's called. Trapped in a dating sim, the world of Otome games is tough for mobs. That's the entire title of the anime.
Dude, that sounds like a dissertation title.
Exactly.
Because go ahead.
Here's another one. Even given the worthless appraiser class, I'm actually the strongest.
Okay. What I meant by dissertation title is that when you're doing research, when I was doing research and for my dissertation, this kind of stuff, you end up having to kind of find such a niche area to research for your dissertation that to describe it takes like 2 or 3 sentences or whatever. It's like your title is like 3 lines long, right? And
what were your dissertation titles?
I don't even remember the title. But I developed my own model of sexual aggression, and then created a measure to test the concepts in my model to see if my model was accurate. And my model was.
Was that the experiment where you had
No, that
where
was
you had
that was
an
my
assistant
master's.
come
No,
in?
that was my master's. No,
Okay.
no, that was my master's. I did one on looking at hypermasculinity and aggression towards homosexuals or
Homosexuality.
perceived homosexuals. I mean, because they were Confederates. They were not, but they were they were trying to see if people would you know emit more aggression, or what I guess they would call today, what the term today is, microaggressions, I guess. Anyway, so but it was really more a study of hypermasculinity, which was the concept that was just happened to be the target in that research. So it wasn't so much about aggression towards homosexuals as it was about the concept of hypermasculinity. So
Okay.
different thing. So anyway, but anytime it comes up, that's what everybody always latches onto. Oh, you're studying No, I was studying hypermasculinity. That just happened to be the context in which I was doing the study. So, but anyway, man, we're chasing lots of weird chickens tonight.
So
Goodness gracious, anime and dissertations.
So for every long extravagant title of anime, there's one that's just short and simple and to the point.
Bob.
So like no, there's like Trigun, Fire Force,
Mm-hmm.
Gleipnir.
Okay.
Do you know have you heard of Gleipnir?
Nope.
So in Norse mythology, it is the collar and chain that holds back Fenrir the wolf. And
Gotcha.
and if you've heard and do you know what Fenrir the wolf is?
Nope. Probably did at one point.
Fenrir the wolf is the child of Loki, who is supposedly the one to bring about Ragnarok once he eats Odin, which and Ragnarok is essentially Norse doomsday, Norse Armageddon.
Okay. Gotcha. Now I knew what that was. I mean, I knew what Ragnarok was, but anyway, but I didn't remember all the specific characters.
Okay. Here's another long
Okay.
title of an anime that is just ridiculous.
Okay.
It's called Shimoneta, a boring world where the concept of dirty jokes doesn't exist.
That's like performance art type stuff. What? Okay. Anyway, let's move on from let's move on from weird anime titles.
Are.
I know. Let's move on from weird anime titles.
So the reason why I love anime so much is because even if they use the same tropes, or the same cliches and storytelling mechanics,
Mm-hmm.
they can still do it in unique ways because they never run out of creative ways to tell these stories.
Right.
And and when you have great voice actors coupled with those stories, it
Mm-hmm.
just creates a whole new realm of enjoyment.
Right.
And because anime dialogue is often so ridiculous, when I hear it in dubbed, I'm just sitting here picturing the person in the voice acting booth. He's looking at the script and he's like, "Okay, how many ways is this? Okay, how many ways am I going to describe a woman's chest today?
Mm.
Oh, 32. Okay."
Yeah.
And he has to somehow, with a straight face, say all of these things in a way that they can actually use in the anime and
But,
not just bust out laughing and ruin the take.
okay. But okay. So I get not laughing, but why does he have to have a straight face? He's not on screen. He can smile all he wants to.
You can you can hear the expression on the face.
Anyway,
If he is cracking up laughing while trying to deliver a serious monologue about the enjoyment of a person's chest, it's going to be very hard to have that.
okay.
Now, granted, I'm talking about a very specific anime in this instance.
I'm sure
I
you
should shut up.
are. I'm sure you
I
are.
should shut up.
Yeah, let's
I should
move
just
on.
shut up.
Let's just
I
move
should
on.
move on.
So
I'm
how
sorry.
how about we move on to the geek question? Let's kind of talk about that.
Yes.
So it's time for so how do we? It was so long since we've been
It's
doing
time for
these
another
things.
geek question, my
Thank
friends.
you. Okay, there you go. Let's just do that. Golly, I don't know how to introduce anything
I want
anymore.
to ask you a bunch of questions.
Like we ever did
I
before.
want to have them answered immediately.
One of these days, I'm going to figure that out. All right. So what's the question?
So since
I
Halloween
hope it's
is next
yeah.
week,
I hope it's the question that
it's
you were
kind
talking
of a
about.
Halloween theme. It's kind of a Halloween themed question.
Okay.
So I just kind of have two parters. One, what was the first costume you were excited to wear?
This is not the question you talked about last week. Okay. I guess I'm winging it. Go for it.
I don't remember the question I talked about last week.
Well, I put it in the show title as movie births.
Oh, movie births. That's what it is.
So I was all ready
sorry.
for that one, and then you just
I've got an
throw
answer
a
for that one too,
curveball.
movie birth. Okay, movie births. Let's go.
So what Connor said we were going to talk about this week was weird births or traumatic births or things like that you in movies. You know, notable birth scenes in movies. I don't know how that question came up, but I thought about that one. So we can do the other one too. I don't care.
No,
So
we could do all three. The third
Oh,
one was
oh,
going to
that-
be what was your
it's
favorite
been like
candy
a-
to get at Halloween.
Geek Questionorama, huh? Okay. So anyway, well, I've got three that I can think of that kind of stick out. So for me, that I've seen, right? That's why I was saying it'd be cool if Mitch from Divided by Werewolves, who pops in every now and then, was here. Because I'm sure, being such a horror movie buff, I'm sure he's got plenty to choose from. But anyway, so you want to go first? You want me to go first?
So first one is from Greek mythology. I love this one.
Okay. Was there a movie about it?
So
Because that was the context.
no, there wasn't. I didn't know it was movie specific. I
So-
thought it was just.
So now who's having to wing it? Hey!
Okay, to be fair, there's been a 2-week gap.
Well,
A 2-week gap, so I forgot. I'm sorry.
right. But that show note for everybody. That's kind of the plan we're moving towards, is kind of going every other week for the podcast. That's kind of what we're thinking about doing instead of every week, going every other week, and in the intervening weeks, do some game streaming together on the channel. So
Yep.
So kind of play some games some weeks, podcast some weeks. So that's kind of where we're thinking about moving towards as the season progresses. So there, just free information for everybody. All right. So, all right, go ahead and tell me your Greek mythology one.
Did you know that according to Greek mythology, Athena, the goddess of wisdom and battle strategy, she was born from the crown, from the forehead of Zeus. She literally basically xenomorphed, fully grown, out of his head.
Okay.
I've always thought that was a fascinating concept to think of, because what could someone have thought of to create that kind of scene?
Man, I don't know, man. But okay, that's
so
interesting.
let's see.
But it'd be
So,
nice to see if there was a
on-
movie version of that, though. I like to see the special effects.
Honestly, look at any Alien movie, because that's basically the same. That's the only concept that I can think of.
Sure.
You know?
I was gonna mention Alien, the first one, right? Because that was the most traumatic one, because that was the first one. You know, now people are expecting things to burst out of their chest and face huggers and all that kind of stuff. But that was the first one. And so that first scene shocked the heck out of people. You know, poor, John Hurt had his chest explode. But speaking of reaction videos, that was one I watched. That somebody strings together all these reaction videos together, clips, and so I watched one of that one specifically, and a lot of people jumping. But anyway, and which kind of not freaks me out, but kind of surprises me that there's people out there that have actually never seen some of these movies and they're watching it for the first time. I'm like, how can you have never seen this movie before? How can you have never seen Field of Dreams before or Braveheart before or whatever, right?
I mean, have you seen Casablanca before?
I have. It's been a long time.
Have you seen My Clementine?
No, I have not. No, I know. No, but these are the movies that are like 20 years old, not 60. Because even when I was a kid, even when I was a kid,
Field
of Dreams was 1990. So that was 30 years ago. Right. I get it.
30.
I get it. Anyway. So I mean,
when was Alien made?
I completely understand you're 79, I think. So, I mean, I get your point. I completely get your point. I'm just saying that I'm old. So I've seen a lot of movies. So shut up. So anyway. All right. So we got the xenomorph. We got, the chest busting out in Alien. Another one that I was thinking about was Quiet Place. A Quiet Place, the first one. That's the one with John Krasinski and Emily Blunt.
Yeah.
And aliens have taken over the world.
What? Oh, when she had to be in that. Yes.
When she went through labor by herself in a bathtub, completely silent because the alien was in the house. Now, before she went into labor, she walked down the stairs barefoot and stepped on a nail sticking through the steps going to the basement. And it went through her foot. She had to literally use both hands to pull her foot off of pry it off of the nail. So she had that happen, had to be completely silent, and then had to get to the bathtub by herself and completely go through labor and birth her child alone in complete silence. That was such an intense scene. It was
right.
Yeah. So that's another one that
beautiful
really kind
cinematography.
Oh, absolutely. So that's another one of mine that I was thinking about. And I've got one other one that I haven't seen in a long time, so can't remember all the details. I just remember what it's about. So, you got other ones? Any other ones? This might be a short question. We can move on to the other ones.
I mean, yeah, because I have a lot of my geek questions are kind of based on
things
trains of thought I have in the moment. No, trains of thought I have in the moment. And because it's been 2 weeks since I've thought of this and I've had to work on all kinds of stuff at work, I've honestly forgotten all the trains of thought leading to such a thing.
Yeah.
So I would have to actively think for a good bit on it.
Okay, so. the last one that I want to mention, then we'll do one of your other questions. So the last one I want to mention is a deep cut, because it's from 1980 something, I think, and probably not a very well-known movie, especially today. It's a movie called Enemy Mine. Starred Dennis Quaid and Lou Gossett Jr. And Lou Gossett Jr. played some kind of lizard alien, and this is set in the future sometime, where humans, the human race, and this alien race were fighting. They were at war, space battles and stuff. Okay, and so Dennis Quaid is a pilot. Louis Gossett Jr.'s character is a pilot. They're in a dogfight, and they both kind of shoot each other down, and they both crash land on this planet. And then they're stranded on this planet, this deserted planet, that nobody knows where they are. And they find each other and they fight and this kind of stuff, but they end up having to lean on each other to survive. And then they live there for years and become really close friends. And Louis Gossett Jr.'s race, they can have babies. They just get pregnant and have babies. I forgot what that is called, where you can just spontaneously get pregnant and have children. What that is in the animal world. There's something in fish or something that certain fish can just have babies, and I can't remember.
Reproducing asexually.
Yeah. So anyway, so he gets pregnant And so that freaks Dennis Quaid out. You're a dude. How can you get pregnant, kind of thing? But as all this is going on and they're learning about each other's culture, I think his name was Drac, or maybe that was the race. Anyway, Lou's character was talking to Dennis about how when they have children, they go to this place on their home planet and recite the entire lineage of their family leading up to that baby. That's kind of a tradition. And so you have to memorize the lineage of your family going back generations. And so Lou Gossett Jr. is going to have this baby, and he's all excited. He's like knitting little alien clothes and stuff. It's like turns into a little mother kind of thing. It's kind of funny. But he ends up having the baby, and the baby dies. I mean, not the baby dies. Lou Gossett Jr. dies in childbirth. And so Dennis Quaid has to raise this alien baby and raises him, to a young child, and falls in love with this child as if he's the father. And in the end, he ends up saving the alien kid from the humans who found him. He escapes, and in the end, he goes to the alien's home planet and he recites that child's lineage that he learned in their language from Lou Gossett Jr. He honored their legacy. It was kind of cool. So that one sticks out too, just because it was a sci-fi alienish kind of movie that I kind of liked. You're I thought you were frozen because you were sitting so still. You're muted, by the way. So, but anyway. So that was another one for me. So that's another. So I guess those three stuck out: the Alien one, Quiet Place, and Enemy Mine. Now there's like Rosemary's Baby. There's other ones out there, but I barely remember those movies. I don't remember much about them, so I can't. They don't really stick out to me. So those are my movie births. What was these other questions that you came up with?
They were so they were Halloween themed.
Okay.
First one was what was the first costume you were excited to wear?
Oh God, I don't know. Go for it. You got an answer?
And then the other one was, what was your favorite candy to get when trick or treating?
Oh, that one's pretty easy. Go. So what was your first costume you were excited to wear?
For me, the first costume I was excited to wear was when mom helped me try to become Dr. Cox from Scrubs.
Okay. All right.
Do you remember that?
Nope.
It was in high school.
Nope, I don't remember that one. I remember the one she made for you guys when you were little, but I don't remember that one.
I don't remember any of the ones she made when I was like little.
I remember when for Halloween, I think it was Halloween after 9/11. She made like New York Fire Department fireman costumes for you and Luke, like first responders.
I think I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it was when we were in North Dakota. Yeah. Of course, nice. She made a clown suit for you when you were little, when we were still living in Chicago, because we got pictures of that one. But for me, dude, when I was little, the costumes I had, Mom went to the store and bought me a costume with the plastic mask and the plastic thing you wore and everything. And so they were just cheap store-bought things. So I didn't really have one that I was ever super excited about. It's just whatever the superhero was with the plastic mask that I liked of the day. So I don't remember any of the costumes I wore when I was a kid. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, now, when we lived back in Georgia and we did all the trick-or-treating stuff and I would give out candy at the door, I remember your mom made me this full-length black robe with a huge cowl over my head and sleeves that went down and covered my hands. and I bought gloves, black gloves, but on the outside of the gloves were like skeleton fingers, so it looked like it was just skeleton.
I remember those.
Okay, and then I had a mask that it was black mesh, and so I could see through the
And it
black
had
mesh,
the glowing eyes.
but nobody could see in. But it had glasses that I
The
wore that
glowing
had
red
the glowing
eyes.
red
Yeah.
eyes. And so I would go up to I'd open the front door, and here's Death standing at the door with no face but two glowing red eyes, and just silently handing out the bowl of candy to kids. I had some really scared kids, so I did enjoy that.
I remember one time. I put on that costume and I was posing at the front door.
Yep.
I remember scaring a bunch of kids that day, but I made sure that when the little kids were coming, I took off the mask and I said, and I made sure they heard me. Hello,
Yeah.
hello.
Yeah.
So I didn't scare them.
Yeah.
But oh man, if there were kids I knew from school, I scared the fart out of them. Revenge is so sweet.
Yeah, and then yeah, so that's the only one I remember from home with like Halloween stuff. I mean, cosplay stuff I enjoyed doing. Last year for we do trunk or treat at our church. So last year your mom and I dressed up like scarecrows, and we had like a hay bales and like a beanbag toss in the back of her car. This year we're doing a football thing, and I'm making some stuff for the kids to throw football-shaped beanbags, for candy. I'm going to make a field goal out of PVC pipe this weekend, and then Mom's got a referee costume that she's going to wear with the whistle and the flag and everything, and I got a Joe Burrow jersey, Cincinnati Bengals, for people that don't know.
Nice.
I mean, most people that are listening probably would know. But Joe is out. On the back of my T-shirt says Burrow, his name, but he's out with an injury. So then they put their backup in. His name was Browning, and he kind of sucked. So they traded for another guy, an old veteran. His name's Joe Flacco. So on my shirt, I'm going to get a big wide piece of masking tape and put it over Joe Burrow's name and write Browning on it. And then we'll get another piece of tape and put it over that, and it says Flacco. And I'm gonna block the kids' throws, and your mom's gonna blow the whistle and throw a flag and get a penalty, and we're just gonna have a good time with that with the kids.
Nice.
So we're gonna do that. But we don't give out candy at the house anymore because we're do the thing at the church. But so yeah, I mean, I didn't have any favorite costumes when I was a kid because I mean, like I said, they were just cheap store-bought plastic things. So none of them stick out. Your grandmother, my mother, did not sew and make costumes like your mom did, so none of them stuck out.
Yeah.
So anyway, so that's it.
Now,
so what was the other part of the question?
What was the candy you always look forward to getting when trick or treating?
Because of course they all came in like mini versions, right? Little miniature versions, right?
Yeah. Unless you got to like the holy grail of houses that they handed out full size candy bars.
Right. Probably my favorite was Baby Ruth. Baby Ruth candy bar.
Really?
Yeah, that was probably my favorite.
I didn't know you were a fan of Baby Ruth.
Oh yeah. I mean, Snickers is favorite. Babe Ruth is as favorite. I mean, it's whatever. But so yeah, I mean, any candy barish type stuff. No, I take that back. I mean, I loved Baby Ruth. I loved Snickers. I loved Zero. I loved Zero candy bars. I loved things like I wasn't as big of a fan. I certainly didn't like Milky Way. Three Musketeers was okay.
Is Milky Way? What makes Milky Way?
It's got nougat and caramel and stuff, and it just wasn't my favorite. I really didn't like Mounds, the ones that had coconut in them. I didn't like them at all. I didn't eat those.
Who likes coconut anyway?
Oh, some people love coconut, but I hate
coconut.
Probably Butterfingers I like, because you get those in those little.
Like you're eating.
I know. But
candle.
Butterfingers, you get them in those little squares.
Yep.
Butterfinger, Baby Ruth, and Snickers are probably my three favorite. Those are the ones that I live for.
So it sounded like chocolate in a way.
Yeah, but chocolate with like peanuts in it and stuff, right?
Okay, it's just
Now,
so not just straight chocolate.
no, I'm not a straight chocolate guy.
I can see that
Yeah.
because chocolate is okay, but if you give me just a straight up Hershey bar, I'm gonna be like, okay, what can I combine this with?
Where's the jar of peanut butter that I
just
can dip
straight
it
up
in?
exactly because
Yeah.
with straight up chocolate, it just doesn't. I don't know. It
I get
doesn't
it.
give the same kind of
I get it. Yeah. Yeah.
mouthfeel.
So, but yeah,
Let's
but
see.
probably Baby Ruth is probably my favorite. What about you? What's your favorite?
For me, I loved getting those small packages of Sour Patch Kids.
Okay.
I
Okay.
because I love because I honestly love fruity flavored and sour flavored candies.
Right.
But as I got older, I'm like, huh. I'm actually kind of leaning into kind of what you're into, chocolate covered candies.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So like Twix, Reese's peanut butter cups.
Mm-hmm.
If I oh, Milk Duds. I love Milk Duds.
See, I'm not a big fan of Milk Duds. Too chewy
Um,
for me.
but then as I got even older, I'm like, okay, I think things with salted caramel are even better because then you're getting a little bit of
Yeah.
savory and saltiness to
Sure.
counteract the sweetness, you
Sure.
know?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So like one time when I was at a gas station filling up, I saw that they had salted caramel Twix bars.
That
And I'm
sounds
like,
good.
I gotta try that.
That
And
sounds
oh
good.
my gosh, it was perfect.
Yeah,
I've never found them again since.
I think one of my new favorites, I think it's called Nutrageous. That's good. I don't know if Fast Break is the one that I like, but I think it's Nutrageous that I really like. That's really good. But anyway, but as a kid, Baby Ruth, Snickers, Zeros, those kind of things. Yeah.
Oh, here's here's a bonus question.
Okay.
What is the candy from your childhood that they no longer make and you miss it? Like you miss that they don't make it anymore.
Man, because my favorites were all like those candy bar kind of things, they still make them all, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Now, I've never heard of Zeros.
they're still out there. You can get them. They're not as popular, but they're the reason why they call them zeros is because they're kind of the opposite. You know how most candy bars are like chocolate on the outside, and they kind of have that nougat or like Three Musketeer, that fluffy stuff on the inside. It's kind of light.
This other one is kind of the opposite.
Zeros,
It's chocolate on the inside.
the frosting on the outside of the candy bar is white, so it's like white chocolate, and the inside is chocolate with nuts and nougat and stuff. So it's kind of like a flip on the script. So
Oh, cool.
yeah, they're in stores. They're just not as popular as everything else, but they're there. They're easy to find. So anyway. All right. Well, you
So
said that was a
for
bonus.
me-
You said that was a bonus question. We've
Yeah, I
already
know.
had like 3 bonus questions.
So,
Okay. So what about for you?
So for me, do you remember a candy called Shockers?
Mm-hmm. I think they still make those.
Nope. They stopped making them in like 2020.
Oh, okay.
Yep, they no longer make them anymore because just because lack of popularity.
Oh,
They
okay.
put their resources to other things.
Gotcha.
But I loved them because they were the perfect amount of sour to make me finally pucker
Right.
for a long period of time
Yeah.
with then a satisfying fruity taste.
Gotcha.
And because they were so sour, I was able to make one pack last for like a month because your tongue could only handle like one or two every other day.
Right. Okay. Yeah, because it's like when I eat salt and vinegar chips. Like you can only eat so much, and then your mouth just gets kind of raw and numb.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's
So.
that's why so I no longer buy flavored chips. I just buy generic regular classic chips.
Right.
And then I put them in a bowl and I season them myself.
All
And
right.
I over season them so that then so that then I can be tired of them quicker and not just gorge myself on them. You
Okay.
know,
Well, that's one way to do it, I guess, as opposed to just having some willpower and just not eating as many.
Oh, I've it's if you remember my my ADC manifests in just mouth action
I know.
or just internal stimuli. So
Mm-hmm.
so I would often eat just to eat.
Right.
But if I eat something that is spicy and it causes my mouth to be overstimulated, it gives me it's telling me that okay, I literally cannot eat anymore because it's now causing detriment, so I will now take a break.
Yeah. So,
And it's been helping.
right. So anyway, so I think that I think we've bled the geek question dry this week. Um,
Yep.
but yeah,
So
so
now let's on to the movie.
yeah, so how about we jump into the next installment of what do you call it?
Roll for credits.
That intro still sucks. I got to figure out how to do that better. Or you know what? Just say to heck with it and go, all right, it's time for the next segment. Here we go. And just be
Exactly.
and that just be our thing that there's no good transitions at all. But anyway, we decided we were going to try to watch a horror movie, specifically just because it's Halloween, and this movie technically fell in the horror category. I don't know that I would call it a horror movie like your typical horror movie, where there's some jump scares and there's some kind of creepy things in there. There were, but when you when you started watching it from the point of view that I was watching it, they all meant something completely different. And then it wasn't scary anymore. Then it was fascinating. And I'll explain what I mean by that and why I'm coming at it from the angle that I'm coming at it in a minute. But the name of the movie that we saw was a movie from 2020 called His House. And the little tagline of it was a refugee couple makes a harrowing escape from war-torn South Sudan, but then they struggle to adjust to new life in an English town that has an evil lurking beneath the surface. And it stars Sope Dirisu, who played the character of Bol, who was the husband, and then Wunmi Mosaku, who played Rial, who played the wife. Now, I thought I'd seen him somewhere before, but I didn't really recognize any of the stuff he's been in. The woman who played Rial, if you watch MCU stuff and you watch Loki, then you know her because she was Hunter 13 or whatever. She was the African American hunter that kind of
Now
turned to Loki's side by the end, right?
Now, real quick,
Yeah.
is it just me or did the guy that played Ball kind of also look like the guy that plays Kang the Conqueror?
He did a little bit. You're absolutely right.
Okay.
He absolutely, but it wasn't him. It wasn't. It wasn't.
No,
it wasn't.
But he looked enough like him to give me pause and be
The,
like,
his facial structure, his lip structure was very similar to Jonathan. I think Jonathan Majors is his name that plays Kang, or played Kang. Yes, but I can easily see that and maybe that's why I thought I'd seen him somewhere because I was thinking about Jonathan Majors. But anyway, so the premise of this movie is they escape from Sudan. There's like civil war going on. People are being killed. They escape with their daughter on this truck, and then they get away on this truck, and then they're on a boat going across the ocean in the middle of the night on this little boat, and then the boat capsizes, and they're all eventually saved, but their daughter isn't saved. She drowns. And so then you see all that happening, and the next thing cuts to them being in a shelter in England, waiting to see if they get political asylum.
Yep.
They finally do, and they're given temporary housing to live in until things kind of get settled and they can get their green cards or whatever the English
if you
equivalent
can call
is.
it housing,
Right. So it was a really, really rundown place. It was clearly government housing. The house that they and of course when I say house, it was like townhouses that were all connected, a bunch of them. But it was
condos.
It was cinder block buildings. I mean, just with your typical concrete cinder blocks, and the buildings were just painted blue. Otherwise, they would have just been plain old cinder block buildings. When they first go there, the guy that's taking them there, the government worker that's in charge of them, who's Matt Smith, by the way, who happens to be one of the Doctor Who's.
Exactly, I was just about to say.
Yeah, So when he opens the door literally falls off, right? So and
Yeah.
there's no electricity at first, and they're not allowed to go anywhere. And when they mean to go anywhere, they can't leave the
Basically,
town. They're kind of there on temporary hold until some paperwork goes through, whatever. Um,
also,
yeah,
also, when they mentioned they were given 75 pounds a week, does that mean each or or as a household?
I have no idea, and
Because
I didn't
seventy
even
five
remember that
dollars
part.
a week.
Yeah, I
Because
know.
$75 a week is kind of hard to live on.
Yeah, I know. I agree, but so sorry. I don't. Sorry for the yawn, but I don't know. What they meant. I didn't even catch the fact that they had mentioned that. I missed that part, so I was kind of wondering how they get money to buy these clothes and all these tools and stuff that
Yeah.
they were doing. But
Yeah.
they set in and they're happy at first, and Bowl is trying to fit into English society. He's
Adjust.
trying to adjust to the culture. He's trying to eat with fork and knife, trying to eat with utensils,
Hmm.
whereas Real is still eating with bread and just dipping it in their food like they did in their home Sudan. And he
Yeah.
kept giving her utensils, use these, trying to get her to adjust. She wouldn't leave the house. He was going out in the community, and so things were kind of going okay. But then things started to get kind of weird, right? They started to hear voices. They started to,
They started to hear scritching and scratching.
yeah, in the walls, and you would see them the typical horror movie, camera angle of they're close up on the screen, and you see
And then you
somebody
see
walk
something
behind them,
clouded in the
right?
background.
That kind of stuff. And so all that stuff was kind of going on. Um, and he started noticing those things, but he was kind of ignoring it. But then Riel started seeing it as well, and they started hearing their daughter, and they started. So as all this kind of stuff was going on, and it was just they were getting more and more freaked out about it. Um, and then so they started to get tense with each other because of it, right? And then they start specifically speaking to them, right?
Well, Rial started first.
Yeah, right. So go from there. To what?
So Rial started talking to these entities first,
Mm-hmm.
and she then confided to Bull that her grandma used to tell her a story
Yes, that was a
about a man who stole from an apathe,
right.
or a night witch,
Yep.
and essentially the night witch cursed this man because he stole from him, and then and the man's home became the night witch's home because his resources were used to make that home.
Right. Right.
So essentially Rial was saying, we stole this life and the apathe knows we stole it, so it followed us from the Sudan and it is wanting to who lay claim to our house.
Right. So really and you know and she just said she didn't really say that specifically, but clearly she was telling the story that okay, we did something we shouldn't have done or something like that to end up where we're at, and we're having to pay the price for it. Um, and you know, and then she's talking about their daughter, and he is trying harder and harder to adjust to society, but he is losing it. He's going more and more crazy because he's hearing these things. He's ripping holes in the walls. He's reaching in there trying to find these things. He
I mean, to
burns.
be fair,
What?
here he saw some crap.
He did, and they attacked
I
him.
mean,
They attacked him until he was able to
there
turn the
was
lights on. And
literally a point. There was literally a point where his daughter was like full on possessed, just stabbing a knife into the floor, staring at him through a
mm,
creepy mask,
yeah,
and
yeah,
then full on climbs the walls, jumping on him acrobatic
yeah,
style,
yeah.
and almost choked him out as he was surrounded by basically zombie people.
Yeah. So,
It was
So-
insane.
So yeah, so he was seeing more and more, and it was more and more violent type stuff. But they were just kind of talking to Rial because she wasn't fighting against them, right? Because she was kind of accepting the fact this is the Night Witch, and these are the ghosts that are coming to bother. So she was just kind of having conversations with them, and she told Bull one night, they're talking to me. What are they saying to you? And he was denying it, but she said, they're telling me that we can have our daughter back if we give up something, and
If
and
we
that,
go back.
right, if we go back, and she said, and it also is telling me to be afraid of you, right? So he's decompensating more. She's more and more calm because she's kind of resigned herself to the fact that I've got to go back home. And he's like, you forget everything we went through to get here. We are not going back home. You're not leaving. And then he locks up the doors and breaks the locks off the windows and keeps her in the house.
He full on removes them, making it impossible to leave the house unless you screw the stuff back on.
Right. So, I mean, he's decompensating as he's seeing these things. She is saying, we have got to do this. They're falling further and further apart. He's bleeding from injuries, and one night he decides I'm staying up and you're going to talk to me, and he lights a candle and he falls asleep and has all these weird dreams and stuff. But
now, I feel like the cinematography with the fire scene, they're only seeing the eyes and a little bit of the shadow of the face. Oh my gosh!
There was
And
great
the way it was
cinematography. Yeah, there was great cinematography in the whole thing, especially all of the flashback scenes, all of the dream sequences that they had. Were really well done, because there was just these smooth transitions of them sitting. They're sitting at their table, and the camera is on her, and then the camera angle goes to him when he says something, and then the camera starts to pan out, and then she's gone, and then the camera pans out even further, and most of the wall is gone, and you can see sky on the other side, and then it pans out even more, and you can see ocean, and it pans out even more, and you can see that he is partially submerged in the ocean. And then it pans out even more, and then it starts to replay. He starts replaying the scene of the boat capsizing and the daughter drowning and all of those things.
Yep.
So, I got a question for you before we move on. Just kind of
What's
explain this one. Do we explain the twist? Because if anybody wants to see this movie, because it's a fairly new movie, it's in 2020. If we explain the twist, I say we don't.
We often
We
go into the whole thing, but I say we don't this time.
So listen. So let's just stop there, because there's a twist at the end that makes everything start to make sense, and just makes you start to hurt emotionally for these two people, right?
Yep.
And we won't go into that because I want you to see this movie and experience this movie. But
exactly.
Why don't you tell me what you liked or didn't like about the movie or anything?
So, I will say that I had a reaction to the first time we see Nagyak walk across the screen. I almost jumped out of my chair, and Cole laughed his butt off as he saw me do that, because I don't like those kinds of scenes. I don't.
Yeah.
This is why I enjoy found footage style horror, when it just gives you little bits of actual seeing stuff, but you don't actually see anything. It's all the suspense that makes you scared.
Yeah. See, I don't like any of it. I don't like jump scares. I don't like slow scares. I don't like fast scares. I don't like none of them. I don't like the scary stuff. Look, in high school, I used to watch all the slasher flicks with my friends. I don't like that stuff anymore. I just don't. Now, I will say, and when I get to my part, my thoughts about the movie, then I'll get into that. But it ended up not being scary to me because I was starting to see it in a completely different light. But anyway,
I wouldn't even call this. I would not even call this movie scary. It is suspenseful.
it's
It is
very
full of
suspenseful.
suspense.
And there's always a sense of when they're in that house in England. There's always a sense of foreboding. The music, the background music that they use, really sets the tone really well to kind of constantly put the. It's like you're always waiting with bated breath for something's about to happen. Sometimes it does, but then sometimes it doesn't. So it just keeps you on the edge of the seat all the time. So I thought they did a really good job of that.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
How did you think the movie was going to go before you watched it? I thought it was going to be something akin to Get Out Now. Have you heard of that movie?
You mean Get Out? It's just called Get
Yeah.
Out. No, I've never seen it. I've heard of it, and I know Peel.
Do
Peel did it.
Do you know what it's about?
I don't want to because if I ever decide to watch it, I'd like to know because I'm sure there's some twists in it. So don't tell me.
Okay.
But anyway,
Gotcha.
so I didn't really know where the movie was going to end up, and then I guess maybe I started to get an inkling. Because the story that she told about the Night Witch and the guy that stole from the Night Witch, not knowing he was a Night Witch in order to build his own house and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I knew in that moment, exactly at that moment, that was foreboding. That was foreshadowing for the movie, for the
Yep.
plot. So I knew something was going to come out where somebody did something they shouldn't have done. I knew that was going to happen. I didn't expect it to be what it was. I'll leave it at that. But early on in the movie, I really saw this movie differently, and so I started watching it with different eyes. That this movie, and look, for people that don't know, I'm a psychologist, and I work at the VA, and I work specifically in the PTSD trauma clinic. I work in the PTSD clinic. So I work with PTSD and trauma all the time. It's what I do. That's my job, okay? Immediately, I started seeing that this movie was a wonderful metaphor for trauma and for PTSD and everything that goes with it, because one of the hallmarks of PTSD is avoidance. Everything you do to avoid thinking about the trauma, avoid anything that triggers memories of that trauma, and that can be things like aggression and violence and substance abuse and workaholic or whatever, just to keep you from ever thinking about it. But that wreaks havoc in your life. Avoiding the trauma and never dealing with the trauma wreaks havoc in your life. And so this movie was a wonderful metaphor for that, of watching the havoc that ensued in their life because they were avoiding the trauma that really had happened. And the second they finally accepted it and faced it and admitted to it, things turned. It was such a beautiful metaphor for trauma and the work that we do in working with trauma that fascinated me. And so I was all in from that angle. And so then the jump scare type stuff, I just completely kind of just went over my head because I was more into the psychological side of it, right?
Fair. Very fair.
So I thought it was great. I even told a veteran today about the movie who likes movies. I mentioned it to him. I'm like, you should check it out, So, because it really is. When you look at it from the point of view of living with trauma, this movie kind of nailed it. Whether they meant to or not, they did a good job with that.
I agree.
I loved some of the quiet moments.
Oh yeah.
When he when they're sitting in front of the judges, so to speak, in that at the halfway house or whatever.
Yeah.
And they're told they're going
to. I think it's technically called. I think it's technically called a detention center.
Relocation center, whatever, something like that. Anyway, when they're sitting there just quietly anticipating and waiting, I thought I thought they did it really well. When they went back to their room, no, it wasn't when they went back to the room. When they went to the house and Bowl went upstairs, and he just was looking out a window and just quietly kind of laughed and kind of giggled and then started crying and then started giggling and laughing through his crying. You could see the pain and the exhaustion and the happiness and the joy all in one scene at one time at the same time.
I agree.
And then there was another scene with her. There was a couple of scenes with her, and I'm trying to remember specifically. There was one scene in particular that I don't want to mention where she has the realization, and I'm just going to leave it at that.
Yep.
And the emotion that comes over her face when she has that realization, and the pain of the acknowledgement of it was just, they did such a good job. She got nominated, if I remember right, for reading from some of the stuff, she got nominated for a BAFTA award for best actress for this movie.
Yep.
Now BAFTA, I think it may be best supporting actress, I can't remember, or whatever that is called in BAFTA. But BAFTA is like England's version of the Oscars, right? So it got some critical acclaim, and she got recognized for it. I thought he did a really good job too. But anyway, so I thought it was a fantastic movie. I was not expecting it to go the direction it went. I was not expecting it to go into kind of my wheelhouse of trauma. But I enjoyed it way more than I thought I was going to. I'll just leave it at that, you know? So, and I'm trying to think if there's anything about the movie I didn't like. I don't think there's anything that I didn't like about the movie, you know, or there was a shortcoming for me or anything. Was there anything that was just kind of blah for you?
No, not really.
Okay. So
I loved the whole movie.
Yeah, it was one of the movies that we get every now and then that surprises you, and it's better than you expected, and it's a movie that I never would have seen, but it's a movie I'm glad I watched. You know? And I would watch it again if Mom wanted to watch it. I'd watch it again with her. I told the two psychologists that I work with in the clinic, I told them about the movie today, and I encouraged them to watch it, you know? So yeah, I mean, if it's a movie that I want to tell people about and I want other people to watch, it was a good movie, right?
Yep.
Now, granted, there's been some times where I've really encouraged people to watch movies that we've watched that were so bad, you need to watch it because it's just that bad, you know, because it's entertaining. But yeah, this was a good one. You know, we've had some of those, you know. Coherence was one. So anyway. But yeah, so that might end up being the only horror movie. I'm putting horror movie in quotes, guys, because it was in the horror genre when I looked it up. So some people might jump out of their seat when the daughter comes across the room, like my son did.
Shoot. I will reach through this camera and pimp slap you across the face.
Am I saying anything that's not true? No, I'm not. So anyway, I'm gonna fix something here. Nope, that's not it. Anyway, my screen's a little off, so I gotta fix that. I'll do that next time. But yeah, so that's the movie.
We're all a little off, Dad.
Oh,
we're all a little off.
Man, you have no idea. So okay, well, I tell you what. How about we roll for the next movie and then get out of here for the night?
Yep.
All right.
Yep, I'm getting antsy.
All right, so we're rolling for our movie here. Let's see what we got. So, as for folks that have never listened to us before, we roll for a random movie to watch. We roll 20-sided dice to figure out which streaming service we're going to choose from. Then we roll a 10-sided dice to figure out which genre we're going to pick from. And then we roll 100-sided dice to pick out which movie in that genre, in the list of the movies in that genre, we're going to watch. So, let's see what we got. So, I rolled a 10. So, that means that we're going to be on Hulu. Okay?
Yep.
And then I rolled a 3. So, you'll be happy.
Nice.
Because we're going to watch an anime movie.
Oh!
And I rolled a 2. So, that shouldn't be too hard to find. So give me just a second. I'm going to pull up Hulu here. We're going to go to the anime section. I can't imagine Hulu's got a huge anime section. So luckily we only rolled a 2.
Oh, Hulu has a giant anime
Oh, does it?
section.
Okay. So anyway,
Well,
so I'm gonna.
well, anime movies maybe not. Anime shows.
Okay,
Definitely.
right. So all right. So y'all hang tight. I'm gonna go check that out, and find the second movie in the anime section of Hulu. So I'll be right back, y'all. Okay, so this isn't one of your long title movies, but it's definitely not one of your short title movies either. And there's some punctuation in here, so I want to say the punctuation so that you kind of, so it's Fate/Stay Night, Heaven's Feel 1, Presage Flower.
Prestige flower.
No, Presage. Presage. Look it up. Anyway, so here's the tagline about this movie. Luckily, it's 1, because if it's 1, apparently there's more than 1 in this series, but at least we got the first one. And here's what it says. The Holy Grail War, where masters and servants fight to claim the Holy Grail. A new war has started in Fuyuki City 10 years after the previous Grail War. But the battle starts to go awry as secret maneuvers by unseen forces are put into play. So there you go. So you get an anime movie next time. So yay! There you go. Yay! And all the people
I
said,
wait for the day when we somehow roll for. I wait for the day for when we finally roll a Studio Ghibli movie.
yeah, well. So anyway, but yeah. So all the people went, yay! So anyway, so that's it, guys. We stumbled our way through another episode, and if you stayed to the end, if I had kudos to give you, I'd give you a sticker. You know, but you know,
I have stickers.
If you listen all the way through the end, I need to get us some more stickers. We used to have some stickers, and I should do that. If I have friends that listen all the way to the end and can prove to me they listen to the whole episode, then yeah, I should send them a sticker for free. So anyway,
nice.
Okay, well, we're gonna go, y'all. So y'all have a good night. Thanks for listening. And we'll be back in probably about 2 weeks, and we're going to watch an anime movie. We're going to talk some more weird stuff and geek questions and all that kind of good stuff. So y'all have a good night, and always remember,
stay nerdy, my friends.
You're still here? Mm-hmm. It's over. Go home.